Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, and can I also welcome the three gentlemen who are on the top table, starting with Francisco Marcos, who is the president of the United Soccer Leagues in America.
You know, I already knew quite a bit about the club. I mean, I know a lot of history of English football, so it was pretty much what I expected it to be. I knew its history. I knew people like Gordon Banks, and was a friend of mine from the old days in North American League. And of course, with Phil Rawlins' involvement, you know, it's pretty much what I expected. I had not seen the Britannia Stadium. Very impressive. You know, it's 10 years old, and one of the first wave of the new smaller stadiums, and you know, really the kind of club that for us makes a lot of sense, because it's these mid-level sized cities and clubs as well that we are all about, and hopefully they will go do their thing in the Premiership, so they'll be, you know, a so-called small boy, you know, at the big time, and that's really, you know, what it's all about.
The president of the Austin Aztecs, director of Stoke City Football Club, Phil Rawlins.
We're very excited. We're delighted with the response we have from everybody. It's just a really exciting time to be involved with the Aztecs and with Stoke City.
And the coach of the Aztecs, Adrian Heath.
Well, it's going to be a big challenge, but it's something I'm really looking forward to. I've been out there now 2 or 3 times. Football mad. They call it soccer, but it's football as we know it. But no, it's got legs to grow, and the country's taking off. America is football crazy, and especially at youth level. And that's, you know, we're hoping to develop the club. You know, we have an academy, we have a reserve team, and eventually we get to a stage where we're bringing players, hopefully bringing them here, which is the ultimate aim.
We hope that our players will come from the US to European clubs, beginning like with Stoke, to improve, to become better players. In that process, help the clubs that they come to play for, as some of the American players that have come here, some cases maybe sometimes too young, sometimes too late, but certainly that spend 4, 5, 6 years in England before they go back to the US and help the American game grow. And at the same time, I think that there'll be a lot of players from England that will come over, whether it's young players that are on the fringe of the first team at Stoke, can't get a game, need the exposure, maybe older players that have 2 or 3 years left in their careers and can still do it over there. There's of course just the corporate, the commercial level as well, where the Stoke brand can be helped by having a presence in the US with a club that they're directly affiliated with, wearing their own, you know, replica jerseys as well. There'll be visits by the first team to preseason tournaments, training camps, youth soccer tournaments. There's really a multitude of possibilities. They'll only be limited by the imagination, you know, the willingness of the people involved, both at Stoke as well as with the Aztecs in Austin.
There's a lot of pent-up demand. There's obviously a lot of youth soccer there. There's a lot of adult soccer as well. There's 10,000 adults playing soccer and 40,000 youth playing organised soccer. So there's a lot of pent-up demand. Therefore, it was a great opportunity for them to get involved with a professional team. Austin doesn't have another professional sports franchise, so professional soccer was it, and the Aztecs are it. So a lot of people buying season tickets and planning on coming to first games.
You know, it's early days for them, but they are getting bigger and they're getting stronger, they're getting quicker, they're getting more organised. The people in the country are starting to love the game a lot more. So, you know what the Americans like, if they do it properly, and you know, some of the facilities that they've got are incredible, and you know, it's going to be an exciting time for me, and I know that Phil's really looking forward to it, you know, Phil Rawlins. So we think it's going to be a really exciting adventure.
Obviously, we're looking for success on the field firstly, but with the relationship with Stoke, then we want to be able to identify talent either locally in our club or in the region, or just generally across the US from players that we see that Adrian and the coaches think are good enough to get a chance over here. If they are, then, you know, we'll call Tony, we'll call Peter, and they'll be on the first flight over.
Well, hopefully that we see enough young players to send here. That's ultimately got to be our goal. And you know, if we can see a player, or I can see a player in the league, maybe he's too good for us, but he might be good enough for Stoke. That's what we will do. And if we can get 1 or 2 players in and turn them into better players, and then turn them over to Stoke, we all win. You know, all well and good for everybody.
players are beginning to realize that, you know, something must be happening there. If you get the team reaching the World Cup 5 times in a row, winning tournaments at youth level, young players coming over here that are making their mark. So players are no longer, you know, afraid of going to the US or think that they're going to go into some retirement home when they go there. That's something that's long gone, and Beckham obviously did open the doors wide open, and it's just going to keep going that way.
I've been negotiating with Round Rock High School District for the last 3 or 4 months for the use of the stadium for this year, for the under-23s. And the guy I've had to negotiate with, named Jim Lawwald, Jim's about 58, 60. He's a dyed-in-the-wool American football coach, you know, a typical, archetypical Texan, if you will. And he started to get interested in football and what we were doing. Started to ask questions about promotion and relegation and Premiership and Manchester United and who is Stoke, and so over the course of 2 or 3 meetings he got to really understand a lot more about what soccer on this side of the pond was all about. Consequently, when I went in for my 3rd meeting, the first question he greeted me with was, well, what happened against Blackpool? And I was like, what? And he's like, well, what happened against Blackpool? What, we threw a lead away. What were we doing? You know, and there he was. He's got, you know, his screensaver on his computer is Stoke's homepage. So we got a guy who'd been 28 years steeped in American football, is suddenly a Stoke City fan.
You know, it's early days for them, but they are getting bigger and they're getting stronger. They're getting quicker. They're getting more organised. The people in the country are starting to love the game a lot more. So, you know what the Americans like? If they do it properly, and you know, some of the facilities that they've got are incredible, and you know, it's going to be an exciting time for me, and I know that Phil's really looking forward to it, you know, Phil Rawlins. So we think it's going to be a really exciting adventure. We're going to places now in Austin, and people are saying, what's happening? We couldn't beat Blackpool, and you know, so we've got quite a good following over there, and I have to say that 2 or 3 years ago I didn't think we'd get in this position again. So full credit to Tony Pooley's, full credit to Peter Coates for sort of bankrolling it a little bit, but you know, we are in a position now where it's in the grasp of our hand really, and we've got to take it, because I'm not sure with what's going to come down next year we're going to have it be in the same position next year.
I think they're very, very good. I really do think they're very good. I'm very confident. Funnily enough, I've been very confident all season. I've kept that to myself. But you know, I'm very quietly confident. I think we're in a great position, a position that anybody in the club would have, you know, dearly paid for back in August. Position we all want to be in. It's in our hands, and I think what we've really got to do, quite honestly, is get behind the team on Monday night. I know people say that in football, but it's true. You know, the players have got us to this position. Tony's got us to this position, and we've got to get behind them now for the last 4 games and help push them over the line. The Aztecs' first ever game is actually May the 3rd in El Paso, Texas, and of course May the 4th we have our last home game, and it's not geographically or physically possible to get from El Paso to Stoke to the Brit for a Sunday. So I've got to make a decision. I either go get on a plane and go to El Paso, or get on a plane and come to Manchester.